The movie starts with a video recording of a group of teenagers at their prom. They are hanging around, joking, and having a good time. 10 years pass and Megan is now a 28-years-old woman living in Seattle, who works as a sign flipper for her father and is in a relationship with Anthony, her high school boyfriend. After work, she joins her friends at a restaurant, and although Megan insists on kidding and fooling, the rest of the girls don't seem to enjoy her jokes. Allison is going to get married, so they play games related to the wedding. But she gets offended by one of Megan's comments. Up to this point, we realize that, where her friends have grown up and progressed, Megan is still acting like an aimless adolescent. The next day at home, Anthony reminds Megan she has a meeting with a career counselor. She gets ready and leaves, but she goes to her parents instead. Megan's mother worries about her daughter's future, but her father knows nothing about the meeting and just comforts Megan. At Allison's wedding, Anthony is about to propose marriage, but Megan is perplexed and afraid, so stops him. Allison shows up and asks Megan to get her friend's mom. She goes outside, but she sees her father cheating on her mother. Feeling shocked, Megan makes up an excuse and leaves, promising that she would come back later. Megan stops in a shop, and in the parking lot she meets a teenager, Annika, and her friends Misty, Patrick, and Junior. As she gets along really well with the kids, they invite her to hang out. The group vandalizes a house by throwing toilet paper rolls at it. Then we know that the house is of Patrick's father. Patrick is sad because his parents are splitting up. At the same time, Annika and Junior are chatting. It seems that they are more than just friends, but when Megan asks, Annika denies it. Before leaving, Annika gives Megan a phone to keep in touch, and the boys drive her home. Back home, Anthony is awake, waiting for her, really worried. Megan says she drank a little too much, and so went to get some fresh air. Anthony brings up the proposal. Megan doesn't want to talk about that, but her boyfriend insists. He proposes to elope, instead of having a traditional wedding. Megan agrees, but delays the date. She mentions that the next week, she is having a personal development seminar on orcas, but this is just an excuse. Both agree to run off to Las Vegas together after the seminar, and Anthony gives her a beautiful engagement ring. The next day, the friends meet Allison for brunch. Once there, Allison is mad at Megan for having left her wedding the night before. Megan explains she got sick. She bumps into her father and confronts him, saying she saw him last night, and lets him know how upset she is. After that, Savannah and her boyfriend ask Anthony and Megan to be their baby's godparents, and they unwillingly accept. Later, Megan receives a phone from Annika, asking her to pretend to be her mother at a school meeting. They have the meeting with the counselor, and it gets a bit weird at times, but the counselor doesn't suspect anything, and everything goes well. At that moment, we know that Annika's mother is not around much. Megan tells the kid she has nowhere to go, so in gratitude, Annika invites her to stay at her house. Once at Annika's home, she claims that her father is coming late that night. She shows Megan where the food is, and makes her feel at home. Then, the kid adds that they're having a party with her friends that same night, and Megan is invited too. While Megan is helping Annika with her makeup, her father, Craig, suddenly walks in. Craig is a lawyer and doesn't believe that Megan is a schoolgirl, but she says she has just graduated. Annika introduces Megan as a new friend and says they're going to the movies later. Craig agrees and wants her to be back by 10. At the party, Annika shows Megan a magazine with a model catalog. That woman is her mother who doesn't care about her. Annika is emotional and upset because Junior is with another girl. Then, Annika confesses she might be in love with him, but thinks he likes her just as a friend. Megan tells Annika her personal story and encourages her to make her own decisions. They unsuccessfully sneak out from Annika's home, and Craig takes Megan to talk in private. Craig questions Megan about her relationship with Annika. So, she lies about how she met his daughter and tells him a bit about her life. She says that she was about to study to be a therapist, because she thought she was happy having honest conversations with people, but then realized it wasn't the case and felt like a total fraud. Then Megan asks about him, and they get to know a bit more about each other, but Annika interrupts, saying that he can't interrogate her for the entire night. Therefore, Craig asks why is she staying at his house, to which Megan replies that the lease of her flat is over, and she can't go to her new apartment for a week, and so she has no place to stay. Obviously, this is also a lie. However, Craig buys it and lets her stay in the guest room. The next morning, Craig and Megan are having breakfast together. Annika shows up, and at that moment she realizes her father is letting Megan stay at their home. Patrick arrives to pick up Annika, and Craig works from home, because he doesn't fully trust Megan. During the day, they spend time together, and discover that they get along really well. They even try some simple tricks with a skateboard, and have a nice time. The next day, Craig goes to work at his office, and he begins to progressively trust Megan, because he tells her where the spare house key is hidden. Craig and her daughter leave, and now that Megan is alone, she decides to video call to her boyfriend. Anthony is still really eager for the marriage. He says he misses her, but Megan is kind of distracted. Later that night, Annika asks Megan to take her to see her mother, although they haven't seen each other for years. Megan accepts, and Annika smiles gladly. Once there, the situation gets tense, because Annika's mother doesn't want to see her. The mother is in the kitchen, avoiding the meeting, so Megan goes there and coaxes her by saying that she only has to ask a couple of questions about her daughter's life. Finally, Annika's mother comes to the living room, carrying some bags and smiling. In the bags, there are clothes that she gives to Annika as presents. The visit is concise, so Annika and Megan soon leave. In the car, Annika invites Megan to her prom. Megan says she has to go back home, but Annika insists and tells Megan she belongs there. On their way home, they stop at a drive-thru to have some chocosinos, but bumps into Allison. Megan has no other option but to meet her. Allison says that Anthony thinks she is in Orcas, attending a seminar. She is angry because Megan missed Savannah's childbirth. Megan tries to hide the truth, but now it is impossible, so she honestly tells her friend everything, and that she needed a week of personal time. Allison doesn't buy it. She explains to Megan that Anthony is going to propose to her. She adds that she won't tell Anthony, but warns Megan not to mess her life up. Megan remains silent as Allison leaves. Back at Craig's home, Megan and Annika tell him they have been shopping, instead of saying they had visited his ex-wife. As there's no school the next day, Annika's friend Misty comes over for a sleepover. Megan goes to get some snacks, but she finds Craig in the living room. Craig states that he is dying for a drink, so he suggests going for something to drink. Megan answers that she is supposed to be in the sleepover, but Craig convinces her. They sneak out and go to an empty pub that is about to close. They order some bourbon and talk about Annika and their friends. After a while, the bar closes, and both are under the effects of the alcohol. Walking down the streets, Megan stops to thank Craig, who says she is a good person. They look at each other silently when suddenly Craig pulls Megan's coat and kisses her passionately. They come back home, but the girls never realize that they have been out, so Megan and Craig sleep together. The next morning, Craig is in the kitchen with a painful headache and treats it by drinking some gin. Megan is going through the same, so she drinks too. Craig proposes Megan to stay longer, but she says she has to go to her new place. At that instant they kiss again, but they don't know that Annika is watching. However, when Megan and the girls are waiting for Patrick and Junior to pick them up, Annika tells Megan that it is weird, because Craig is her father, but she approves of the relationship. The kid says that her father has been alone for a long time, so if they are happy together it might be cool. They go to the mall and buy clothes to wear for the prom. Annika looks for some bubble gum in Megan's purse, but she finds her engagement ring instead. Megan says she is engaged and that Craig doesn't know about it. Annika asks if she will go to her fiancé, and Megan answers she will, which makes Annika really sad. On the way home from the shopping, everyone is arguing, and Patrick gets distracted and crashes the car. Unexpectedly, Patrick confesses he is drunk, so Megan decides that she will take the blame when the cops come. As she drank some gin in the morning and still has alcohol in her breath, she is arrested. Annika calls her father to free her. Megan tells him the whole truth. She reveals about the engagement and the apartment, that she met Annika because she bought alcohol, and that they went together to see her mom. Craig is disappointed and really sad. She affirms that what they shared was real. He is confused. Craig finally leaves, letting her know that he feels connected with her, but she is not for him. Megan's father arrives at the police station and picks her up. He asks her what happened, but Megan diverts the conversation. Her father wants to talk about what happened in the wedding, but Megan says that she too did things that were wrong, and she can't judge him. However, her father tells her that he has confessed to her mother, and they are trying to fix things. He explains that relationships are always changing, and both partners have to work on it. Back home, Anthony welcomes her warmly, and they go straight to pack things, when suddenly the doorbell rings. Misty shows up unannounced at Megan's door. She gives her a white dress, and says it would be great for Annika if she goes to the prom. Megan declines the offer, but Misty reminds her about the moments she spent with Annika. Before leaving, Misty gives her a prom ticket. Now at the airport, about to fly to Las Vegas, Anthony takes a photo of them and sends it to his family. Megan cannot continue with the charade anymore, and tells Anthony they can't be together. Anthony is confused. Megan tries to explain that she's been dragging her problems for a long time, and the relationship is stifling her, but Anthony still wants to be with her. Nevertheless, Megan has already made the decision. She is dropping out of her group of friends, because she doesn't feel part of it anymore, and the group involves Anthony too. They finally break up. Megan drives to Annika's prom. She heads to Annika and says that what she did to her father was wrong, so she broke up with her boyfriend. Then she advises her not to put aside what she wants. She has to follow her heart and be honest with herself. Moved by these words, Annika approaches Junior and tells him that she has serious feelings for him. Junior is elated, as he feels the same, so they decide to get into a relationship, or at least try it and see where things take them. Craig is at home sitting on the couch when someone knocks at his door. He goes to check and finds a box of wine, with a note from Megan asking if they can try again. Megan sees him while she hides from him, but Craig just goes back in. Megan doesn't give up, she knocks again, but this time Craig does not open. So she takes the spare key hidden outside, and when she is about to unlock the door, Craig opens it, Megan asks if he wants to hear the story about a woman who fell in love with the lawyer. Craig agrees and lets her in. They close the door but forget to take the wine along. Some seconds later, Craig comes out and this time takes it inside with him.